From Studio A in Texas, USA, welcome to In Wheel Time, the award-winning all things automotive car talk show. On today's 2-hour program, we focus on used and pre-owned cars, the state of the used car market, what to look for when buying one, warranties, and the importance of a Carfax report and how that works. Inside our new car showroom today is the Toyota Tundra. Mr. Mars has that. And I'll be talking about the Buick Enclave. We'll give you an in-depth review of each of those. And we'll have this week's automotive news, our weekly Ram Tracks and Jeep Trails features. All that and more just ahead on today's 2-hour in-wheel time car show for Saturday, June 6th, 2020. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars down there, past president of the Texas Auto Writers Association, and King Conrad DeLong, former member of the General Motors folks. Entourage, as it were. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us. I'm not going to tell you what I've done in my life because you don't really.
You can read that in the paper.
Yeah, exactly.
The court records.
Court records and mug shots. Yeah, that does all of that. So we're so glad that you could join us today. It's a hot day here in Houston, Texas. I think it's supposed to go up to the mid-90s, and it's hot in here. I didn't turn the air conditioner on in here till this morning, and nobody has said anything yet. But I've gone ahead
to be polite.
I've gone ahead and volunteered that information. Let's dive right into the used car market, shall we? And joining us right now is Emilie Voss, and she is from Carfax. And Emilie, it's great to see you along with you. I understand we've got the GM of data at Carfax, Faisal Hasan. Thank you both for joining us today. It's really good to have you both with us. And thank you for taking the time out of your Saturday. I know you had nothing else to do. Are both of you in Virginia?
Yes.
Y'all are both up in Virginia.
Yeah.
And I never knew where Carfax was located. But
No, I didn't.
Well, Virginia. Well, why not? I mean, we like that part of the country. And let's talk about Carfax and how Carfax got started and give us a little background on that. And you guys decide on who's going to answer that question.
Well, Carfax started about 35 years ago, and I'll let Faisal fill a little background because he has been with the company almost 20 years, and we really are a data company, and he is our GM of data. So I think he's the best to speak to some of that history and where we were born out of.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we were born in Columbia, Missouri, believe it or not. A guy had an idea. He literally built the company in his garage. He got 10,000 branded titles from the state of Missouri and started literally faxing them out to dealers. Over time, he added a whole bunch of different things. And by 1990, word had gotten out about what he did. And the reason we're in Virginia is pretty interesting. The Carfax was purchased by a Canadian company. And they thought, well, you got to be near the federal government. So they kept the data center in Columbia, Missouri, but they headquartered the company just outside of Washington, D.C., and that's how we got here. Over the last 35 years, we've just had this ultra focus on what are all the things that could happen to a car from the moment it leaves the factory till it becomes scrap metal. And then what are all the key things that consumers need to know about and dealers need to know about, right? Buyers and sellers when they're looking at a used car. And so over the years, that's really what we've done. And the last 20 years in particular, that has been our focus. We put up a picture of a car. What are all the things that could happen to that car? Let's go get that data at a VIN level and make it available.
How does it work? I mean, okay, I understand it's with a VIN number, a vehicle ID number. But how do you connect what that vehicle ID number is with, say, a flooded vehicle, or if it was wrecked really badly, or it wasn't wrecked at all, it just happens to be 10 years old? How do you collect that information and associate it with the VIN?
That's a great question. I mean, that's part of it is our secret sauce. I saw your show about a year ago where you guys did a really cool show on flood cars. Yes. And you were talking about how to find a flood car. I thought that was great. So that's what we do. We work with departments of motor vehicles. We work with insurance companies. We work with the salvage yards, right? We work with law enforcement. So I'll give you a great example. When Katrina hit in New Orleans, because we were talking about flood cars.
Yes.
We were on the ground with the National Insurance Crime Bureau. We worked with them directly. We worked with the Louisiana State DMV. We were marking those cars as quickly as possible even before the insurers were totaling them, NICB was saying, hey, here's this car, it's underwater. So so we were going after that. Today, if you're driving down the road and God forbid you're in an accident, the police are going to show up. They're going to write up a report of that accident. They're going to file it away somewhere by the VIN number. And so we work with law enforcement across the United States at the agency level to get them the tools they need to have them report accidents faster. And in exchange, we get the VIN and the fact that the vehicle was in an accident, an airbag deployed, it flipped over. The things you'd want to know if you were buying a used car.
So basically what you are is you're a data gatherer and disseminator of that information amongst us, the buying public out there. And so how do you make your money? Do you charge per VIN search, or is there a time limit? How does the Carfax work?
Yeah, I mean, dealers. So our main customer is the dealer, okay, right? Mm-hmm. We have a strong brand that consumers trust, but really we want them to go to a reputable dealer. Because you don't want to buy. You want to be careful where you buy your car, but you really want to go to a reputable dealer. And the dealers, they run the reports and they post them everywhere. You can get a free Carfax report. Every time a consumer buys a Carfax report, we just look at them and say, why? Why are you buying the report? If you go to Carfax.com, if you go to Auto Trader, if you go to all of these places, the dealer's already posting the report. If a dealer subscribes to our service, we post the report everywhere for them. And they get to use it at wholesale, at retail, when they're doing trade-in. The consumer should be getting it for free. The seller should be disclosing everything.
So just as a consumer, I need to ask for that because I've never been offered that.
Yeah, you got to say, "Show me the Carfax," right?
Yeah. Exactly. There you go.
That's a good commercial for a tag. That's a good tagline for a commercial.
Good.
What a great idea!
I also understand that in the dealership world, with the Carfax itself, it's required for their certified pre-owned vehicles. Carfax has to be pulled to let a car qualify for CPO. So that all kind of intertwines with making sure that before they offer it as a certified pre-owned, that the accident history has been inspected on the vehicle, besides all of the other inspections that they do.
Very good. Excellent. That's exactly right. We rolled out with Mercedes years and years ago as the first, but virtually every single brand today uses Carfax as one of the qualifiers or disqualifiers, one
Correct.
of many. Yeah. In order whether to certify a vehicle or not.
And you are gathering, Don talked about you being an information clearinghouse, and you're adding more and more information that's coming into Carfax each year, because now what I've watched is there are certain companies that are providing you with maintenance information that you're adding into the Carfax as well. How long ago did you guys get that integrated?
Well, we launched that, believe it or not, back in 2004. We load about 6 million records every single day.
Oh, my God.
6 million every single day.
Wow.
And we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah,
we always talk about being in the bottom of the third inning of Carfax's ball game. We have over 60,000 service and repair facilities that we work with every day at a VIN level who are reporting to us something that's happening to a car. And Emilie can talk about the car care app, which is how we're showing consumers the benefit of that.
Let's hear about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and overall, I mean, he said 6 million records a day. We have over 24 billion records. So, and that includes the accident damage, the title, the branded titles, the service records. So we're uniquely positioned. And I think that's where the Car Care app was born out of too, because we do have, it's really information as far as how to maintain your vehicle during your ownership. We have OEM recommended service we'll send out. We'll let you know if there's an open recall on your vehicle. If you guys don't mind, I can share my screen and
please do. Yes.
Yeah, please do.
Yes, please do.
By the way, the Car Care app is free. I recommend all three of you download it. And the great thing about it is, we use it all the time. I have a son who goes to school in Austin, Texas, and I can track everything he's doing on his car, make sure he's getting his oil changes, all of those things. And the moment he gets it done, it gets reported to Carfax. So you don't have to do anything yourself. We're like your virtual glove box.
So Faisal knows if he's getting it done.
So absolutely. I'll call him in a second if I see he hasn't gotten his oil changed.
We'd love to see that screen. Mr. Mars is working on.
I'm trying to figure out why it's not letting her share.
Okay. But at any rate, Emilie, while we're trying to work on that, explain that app for us on Carfax, if you will.
So it's a great app. You can put multiple vehicles into it. So let's say you're a family that has a couple different vehicles. You can track it, like Faisal said, with his son. So, and they can be different manufacturers. So you put the VIN in, and it will show you when you're due for service. If you have an open recall on a vehicle, it'll let you know even expected maintenance costs. So if you were taking it in for an oil change for that specific type of vehicle, maybe what the expected repair costs should, if you're due for a safety inspection, how much time is left on your registration, all sorts of information in one easy app. There's a desktop version, or we've made it easy with the mobile app. And if a recall comes on your vehicle, you'll get an email alert as well as it lives in the app as well.
So wait, hold on just a minute. I have to ask this. Does this cost me money to register my vehicle on? No.
No.
There's no cost.
Absolutely free. And so, there are tools out there where you can call check on a vehicle. But what's unique about this and what's great is once you put your VIN in, we monitor, we watch those recalls, and we'll let you know if one's open and if a remedy is available. I think that's one of the greatest features of it. And then also these are OEM recommended maintenance. So we will send you, if the manufacturer is recommending that this is about the time that you should be getting an oil change, or your tires, looked at, or your brakes, we send you that kind of the 60,000 mile, checkup, because
a reminder.
A reminder. And it's different for every vehicle. So I think it's especially great when you have a couple of vehicles garage, because it's different for a Ford than it is a Toyota. And it's hard to keep that straight. And we all live very busy lives, but we want to make sure vehicles are safe when they're on the road. And I think this is a great tool because it kind of it makes it mindless, and we send the reminder to you so you don't have to think about it, and it will remind you when maybe you're due for your registration.
Let me send you an example, and that would be my 2001 Corvette that's almost 20 years old, that has 24,000 miles on it. I'm the third owner, and it doesn't get driven very much. So really, it would be kind of an insurance policy for me to register on Carfax that car right now. Not only would it benefit me for oil changes and recalls and that sort of thing, but also in the future when I get so old I can't drive it anymore, and that goes either to my daughter or they sell it off at auction when we have that big estate auction.
Next week.
Well, let's hope that's a long time from now.
Yeah, well, I don't know about how long it is.
But the cool thing about the Car Care app is that not only is it tracking everything like your registration, because you're right, you don't drive it very much, but you do have to get it re-registered. So it will tell you about that. Now, one of the cool things it also does is what we call, and Emilie can talk about that, history-based value. And so the other thing we put in the Car Care app is we have your history-based value. Not like the value everybody else does. This is the value of your specific car. Your VIN, your specific car, based on the history of your car.
Correct.
And so you have a really cool 2001 Corvette that has a very specific value. And Emilie, I'm sure you've got more to talk about around that, but that's a big part. And you get that in the Car Care app. So the better you take care of the car, the stronger that value is.
Right. And it does. It takes into account whether, how many owners there's been, if it's been well maintained. The area that you live in, where you're looking to sell it, that market too. And it changes, I think, especially right now, given the last few months, what we've seen in the auto industry. It's been a little tumultuous as it has in many other industries. And history-based value is really not only VIN specific, but it also takes into account current market factors as well. So it will give you real time the value of that specific vehicle based on where you're located, what's going on in the market, and also the history of that vehicle. So it's a really unique product, and I think Carfax is uniquely positioned because of that 35 years of data that we've been collecting on vehicles.
So where we started the conversation was how Carfax is somewhat dealer-centric. Now with the Car Care app, you're becoming consumer-centric with that part of Carfax as well, trying to broaden your base and reach of people who utilize your services.
And I think Carfax has always, we were born out of a consumer need, right? Like we have always been a consumer advocate as a company, but I think we have all this data and we realize, you buy or sell a car every few years, but this data can help people during the course of ownership too. And that includes with servicing. So that's kind of where the Car Care app was born out of. And, we've seen tremendous feedback. It also has a service shop finder. So if you're looking to get your car maintained in your area, you can see verified ratings and reviews from Carfax Car Care customers who actually went to that shop, and they're verified. So that you can trust the advice that they're saying as far as their experience.
Wow, what a wealth of information. Listen, thank you both so much for joining us today. We've learned so much. Carfax.com. We love you guys. Thanks, Emilie, for all your effort in getting this interview together. And Faisal, I want to be you.
And I'm going to be downloading. Yeah, I'm going to be downloading the app here shortly.
Yeah, I'm trying it right now.
I'll have to have you talk to my wife if you're sure.
All right. Well, thank you guys again.
Thanks.
We really appreciate it. We'll be in touch. Okay.
Great info. Yeah,
it truly is.
That's great.
What we learned there, I had no clue, and man, it's always great to talk to those guys. I think we talked to them a couple of years ago, and we've got to stay in touch with those guys. I got their thumb on the pulse of automotive America. A review of the Toyota Tundra is coming up. And actually, we've got a lot going on today on today's program. And we hope that you're going to stay with us for all of that right here on In Wheel Time.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
It's kind of my throwback music theme. What does that remind you of? Kind of reminds me of the Munsters a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. As you say, the Munsters or Herman's Hermits back in the
All of the Ventures and all the the whole California surfing
60s and
thing.
70s.
Well, good. Hey, thanks for joining us for today's In Wheel Time car show. It's our weekly car show. We've got our new hours now, 10 to noon, and we hope that you'll join us live every Saturday on your favorite streaming device, which would be Facebook, YouTube, or InWheelTime.com. Time now for this hour's car review. I got to drive the Buick Enclave Avenir. Okay? It comes in 4 different trim levels: Preferred, Essence. I work with a girl by the name of Essence, by the way. Essence, Premium, and then the Avenir, top-of-the-line Buick. Front-wheel drive, 1SP is what I had. Now, this is the full-size crossover from GM. It's also, Chevrolet makes a version of it as well. It seats up to 7 passengers. This was all new in 2018, the Avenir model. Exterior features, sharp, classy grille. No more of that waterfall grille. Never did like that. I love this. Not a 3 or 4-holer Buick any longer. This is a modern-day Buick, but you'll notice on the video there
it still has a side port.
It does have a side port, but it's a modernized side port instead of 3 holes or 4 holes, depending on whether you had the Special or the Roadmaster. Sleek front fender vents that cross into the door. Avenir has a unique grille, looks better than lower trim levels. Small sunshade spoiler over the rear glass gives it a little bit of class there. What I liked about it, the kicked up D pillar. That's that pillar in the very back of it. You notice that it's got a little kick up to it. I wouldn't do anything to the design of this. Nothing could use improvement there as far as I'm concerned.
Did that D pillar kind of give you an over-the-shoulder block, or was it really not in your view?
Not in the view.
Okay, good.
Not a problem at all. Interior highlights, swoopy, well laid out dash with different trim styles based on packages. What I liked also about it, the quality perforated leather seating that it had, gobs of room for people and packages, near Cadillac comfort on the interior.
Don said he liked the leather.
What I liked about this was the quietness of the cabin. Very quiet cabin.
Which is a Buick trade anyhow.
And not only that, but you'd be surprised the differences in the quietness of cabins across all cars and SUVs. There's a look at the interior there. What could use improvement? I had to come up with something. Some plastic parts could be a little bit more upscale, but this is kind of a tweener between an entry level and the Cadillac. So for GM, I think this is the perfect crossbred, if you will, when it comes to trim levels. A 3.6-liter V6, 310 horsepower, 266 pound-feet of torque, 9-speed automatic transmission. It can tow up to 5,000 pounds, so a small trailer or a small boat.
And with a 9-speed, did you find it?
Never even came into play.
Okay,
you never even knew that it was there.
And again, that could be some of the Buick tuning as well.
City, 18 miles per gallon. On the highway, 26 for a combined total of 21. I got 23.3 miles per gallon over 234.2 miles. What I liked about it, plenty of responsiveness on that engine with the 9-speed transmission. Nothing could use improvement on that combination. Ride and handling, it's all about the comfort, but it's not some sort of a floater going down the road like the old Buicks. That's none of that. What could use improvement? It's not as sporty as some of its European counterparts.
But it's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be. It's got its own niche.
Right.
And I really like this car. Base trim price, $53,800. Price as tested, $57,000. You can get into one of these for $36,272.
Really?
An Enclave. Yeah,
yes,
but not the
Enclave.
Avenir. The Avenir is where, okay.
Correct. This is the base model. Competitors, its cousin Chevy Traverse for $29,800, the Acura MDX for $51,000, the Ford Expedition for $48,990, and that is the review of the Buick Avenir, the Buick Enclave Avenir. The In-Wheel Time show streams on Facebook.com/InWheelTime, on YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict. We've kind of rearranged the way that we've done our podcasts, so we've got them in 30-minute segments now. So there'll be one each day, Monday through Thursday, and then a special surprise on Friday. We're not going to tell you what the special surprise. You know, it's kind of like the mystery garage back here. It's just kind of a special surprise. Thanks for joining us here today on the In-Wheel Time program. I almost said radio program, but that's where we were born. That was 9 years ago. Can you believe it's been that long?
It's amazing.
9 years.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that was I started on the radio show just shortly after I went to work for BG. So, and I'm 10 years with BG right now.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And where were you before that?
General Motors for 25 years prior to that.
See, we always have these little nuggets of surprise.
I'm
for
moving up in the world now. I get to work with you guys
Ta-da!
and enjoy the pre-show. We should really do the pre-show as a subscription video because it's so much fun on the pre-show as we're
We'd have to put
scrambling
age
to get on.
restrictions and
Yeah,
stuff
well,
on it,
yeah,
though.
not safe for work.
You know, I think that isn't Facebook now putting some restrictions on what can be said and what can be done on Facebook?
They're censoring.
That wouldn't fly.
Well, but I think basically they're censoring whatever they think is political. I think what we talk about.
We don't talk about political.
Yeah, my mother would censor us, but I don't think
Your
Facebook
mother would
would.
slap you upside the head.
We'll be back right after this.
Let's be honest. The National Symphony may not be in his future, but he wanted to try violin. So you said yes because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more about keeping your kids safe in your vehicle at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Social distancing slows the spread of coronavirus, so we should all stay home to lower the risk for everyone. More info at coronavirus.gov. Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hey, welcome back. It's the In-Wheel Time Car Show for this Saturday with our new hours, 10 a.m. to noon. A couple of shout-outs I'd like to give. First of all, to my daughter who's sitting on some sort of mountain in Colorado camping, or maybe that's tonight, I don't know. But hi, Katie Armstrong, and thank you very much for being with us. today. And I'd also like to give a special shout out to Candy Thackeray, longtime friend of mine, went to high school, actually grade school, junior high, and high school with, who's battling cancer in Kansas City. And so we'd like to wish her the best. And we're thinking about you and prayers for you as well. Thanks for joining us for today. And time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. And Conrad always has a little something special for all of us that really don't know as much as we'd like to know about cars.
Well, you know, the theme of today's show being built around used cars and stuff, I figure I'd talk a little bit about certified pre-owned. We talked with the folks from Carfax just a touch about certified pre-owned. There's a reason certified pre-owned, if you can afford it, because they're just slightly more expensive than a regular used car, is worth it. Certified pre-owned vehicles go through a pretty regimented inspection process by each manufacturer. You know, some of them are 130 items to inspect, some of them are 170, some of them are 200 inspections. I'm not real sure why everybody has a different number for what they inspect, but at the dealership level, they do a pretty intense inspection.
One person looks at a lug nut and the other one doesn't.
They go through a very extensive inspection process of all of these cars, and it has to pass that to qualify to be certified pre-owned. And like we talked with the folks at Carfax, one of those qualifications to be certified pre-owned is it could not have been in an accident prior to it, or it wouldn't qualify as a CPO as well.
CPO, that'd be a certified pre-owned.
Certified pre-owned. And all of the manufacturers offer a version of CPO through their brand. And, you know, like at a Chevy store, all of their CPOs are going to be Chevys. At an Audi store, all of theirs are going to be Audis. So, you know, it kind of keeps a little tightness on who the inspectors are and what they're looking at, because they know the brand that they work on. Most all certified pre-owns also come with an extended warranty, just as part of it being a certified pre-owned. And then you can always buy the longer extended warranties on top of them. But a lot of them are going to give you 3, 6, 12 months worth of extended warranty that's just like the factory warranty. So all the electronics, all the trim and everything, they're still going to warranty for you. A certified pre-owned has to be more than 1 year old and less than 7 years old, and that's pretty much across all brands. That's generally the rule. And then on top of that, the warranty, certified pre-owns get certain incentives. You know, when they're offering some of these super finance deals on the new cars, a lot of times the CPOs will piggyback with a good finance program as well. Generally not as good as the new car finance program, but a lot of times not far away from it. The vehicle history report, they come with roadside assistance. Some of them come with a maintenance package that goes along with it. You get the continuance of the manufacturer's warranty and then the extension of the CPO. You know, Rochelle in 2018 bought her Audi Q3, and it has a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on it as a certified pre-owned. So in a little bit of a way, sometimes the CPO warranty is a little bit better than the factory warranty. So, you know, you want to weigh all of those elements to determine whether or not you think it's a good enough value to buy a CPO. And again, whoever the dealership is and their manufacturer partner, there's a charge for a CPO. So they have to pay extra to make the car certified pre-owned that gets all of those things. So a certified pre-owned car may be a little bit more expensive, everything being equal, than a non-certified pre-owned. To me, I think there's a good value in all of those extras that you get from a CPO. So I'm very much a believer in it. Rochelle's now bought 3 of them as CPOs.
And you're happy with them?
Very, very happy with them. And she had to utilize...
Is it the same dealership or no?
No. It's actually all 3 have been different dealerships. Actually, all 3 have been Audis. She's become quite the Audi fan. She had 2 A4s and now a Q3.
Really? Huh.
So
I thought that she had a Mercedes.
No, Angela drives the Mercedes. We actually bought that new.
Okay.
See, when the kids were living at home, the kids all had nicer cars than Mom. Now that we finally got all the kids out of the house and they're buying their own cars, Mom gets the nice car, and I drive the Ford van or the 2004 GMC
the hand-me-down,
Yukon.
and you don't care. No, I don't either. Hey, calling all car, truck, and Jeep clubs, we'd love to feature your bunch in our Car Club Spotlight. Just shoot us an email to info@inwheeltime.com. Please include your contact information. We're not going to share it with anybody, so we'll be able to get in touch with you. And we can also share all of the club's stuff on the In Wheel Time website, and we can get you also on with us as well. In Wheel Time continues after this snappy little break.
Texas Truck Works.